This is your turn number 4. I'm going to show two different ways. This video, I will show you how to do it eliminating y. So if we look at our system, we want to look and see what's the easiest way to do it. So I've got a 9x and a 3x. So you can see you can easily multiply just this equation by negative 3, and then that would be negative 9x plus 9x. That would eliminate. If you look at the y's though, this is a negative 2y and a y, so we can easily multiply the top equation by 2 to get 2y, and then a positive 2y minus 2y. That will eliminate. So we can do either of those methods. Like I said, I'm going to eliminate y in this case. So one is not always better than the other. Sometimes you'll have some situations where, yeah, it's probably easier to do it this way. But in this case, they're both really easy. So you just get to choose. Even if it's not easy for one way, you get to make the choice on what you're doing. So we're going to choose to eliminate y. So like I said, we want to make sure that those y coefficients are the same, except one is positive and one is negative. So since this is already a negative 2y, and this is a 1y, since the coefficient is 1 when it's not written, we need to multiply that first equation by 2. So I'm going to just put both sides in parentheses, and this is equation number 1, and I'm going to multiply it by a positive 2. Don't forget to distribute. So 2 times 9x is 18x. 2 times 1y is positive 2y, equals on the right side 9 times 2 is 18. And I'm just going to, instead of rewriting my other equation, I'm just going to leave it there and then add. So this is me adding to equation number 2. So now I'm looking at this equation number 1 and this equation number 2 and adding those together. So add left side to left side, right side to right side. So combining like terms over here, 3x plus 18x is 21x. And then negative 2y plus 2y, that zeroes out or eliminates, which is what I expected. And then so equals, and then we have negative 11 plus a positive 18 would be positive 7. Great, now we have one equation with one variable and we can finish solving. So to finish solving this problem, be careful here. You're going to think the answer is 3, but it's not. What are we dividing by? We have to divide by the coefficient of the variable. So we're going to divide each side by 21. So look, this is 7 divided by 21, not 21 divided by 7. So our answer is a fraction, and that's okay. So 21x divided by 21 is x equals, and then 7 divided by 21, let's not enter it into our calculator because it's going to be a repeating decimal. So just look at 7/21. What common factor goes into 7 and 21? Well, it's 7. So if we divide each by 7, we get that equivalent fraction, which is 1/3. So since that's a repeating decimal, you are not going to write it as a repeating decimal. You have to leave it as a fraction. And again, the reason I have you do that is because if you use a repeating decimal, then when you check your answer, you're just going to get an estimated answer. So we always want to use fractions instead of repeating decimals, and that will work out better for us. Okay, so we have x is equal to 1/3. Now we can pick either of our equations to solve for y. One thing you want to look at though is which equation it would be easier to plug in since it's a fraction. So if I plug in 1/3 here, then 9 times 1/3, that's a nice number because it's just like 9 divided by 3, so that's 3. So that'll work out fine. I won't have to deal with more fractions. And then we can look in equation 2. If I do 1/3, plug that in here, 3 times 1/3, well, that's just 1 because they're multiplicative inverses. So it looks like either one of these equations will be really easy to plug this value into because you've got multiples of 3 as the coefficient. There may be other times where that doesn't happen, so you'll want to use the one that does just to make it easier. Still, you can use either no matter what. It's just we always try to look for the easier way to do things. So I'm going to go ahead and do it in equation number 1. So in equation number 1, I'm going to plug in 1/3 for x. So 9, and then instead of x, I'm going to plug in 1/3. and then plus y is equal to 9. Now 9 times a third, remember I told you it's just like 9 divided by 3, so it's what's a third of 9 is 3. And if you want, I'll just go ahead and write that. You can stick that over 1. And then you can either do cross canceling where you divide by 3 is 1, divide by 3 is 3. Then you have 3 times 1 over 1 is 3. Or if you just multiply across too, if you did multiplying fractions, 9 times 1 is 9 over denominator is 1 times 3 is 3, and then 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, and then finish solving here, so plus y equals 9. So we want to get the term with the variable by itself, which it's 1y already, so we will not have to divide in the end. So just get rid of that positive 3 by subtracting it, because it's a positive 3. That zeroes out, leaving us with y is equal to, and 9 minus 3 is 6. So notice we did not get a fraction for the y, which is nice, so we don't have to deal with another fraction. Okay, I used equation number 1 to solve for that second variable y. So I know that when x is 1/3, y is 6, that works for equation number 1. So I have to make sure it works for equation number 2. And of course, if you chose equation number 2 in that previous step, then you would be checking in equation number 1. So let's check it. So in equation number 2, 3 times our x, which instead of x, we plug in 1/3 plus, minus 2 times our y, which is 6. And we want to make sure that that's really equal to negative 11. So order of operations, we're going to do our two products here and then subtract them. So 3 times a third is just 1. And then minus, so since I wrote the minus, I'm treating this as a positive 2 now. 2 times 6 is 12. So it's 1 minus 12. Is that really equal to negative 11? And yes, it is. 1 minus 12 is negative 11. So we confirmed our answer is correct. So our final answer written as a coordinate point, we write x first, so 1/3, comma 6 is y. Use solution sets, so that's where these two lines would intersect, is 1/3, 6, and that's our final answer. Okay, if you want to see this problem solved by eliminating x, you can watch the other video. Otherwise, thanks for watching.